Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Western Bulldogs podcast, Barkley Street. I'm very excited. First one of the year. This is the 4th year we've been doing it, or I've been doing it. You've been doing sweet.
I've been busy, mate.
FA, Easton, you've been out there trying to get a kick. My co-host, Easton Wood, former captain of the Bulldogs, leaping superstar and hamstring aficionado. Easton, welcome to Barkley Street.
Thanks, thanks Bobo.
I'm not finished. I was just getting.
It was going to be a personal review.
I was just halfway through. Okay, is this how it's going? Is this the dynamic it's going to be?
I go. I've got a little bit in the back pocket for you as well, so we'll work.
I like a one-way street. Barkley Street is a one-way street, my friend. This is not two-way. This is not a two-way freeway. How are you, mate? We're on the eve of round one. I know you won't be out there with the ones, but how's the sort of feeling around the club, as my dad would say?
How's the vibe?
How's the vibe? My dad would always go, how's the feeling down there? And often after about 6 losses, I'm like, not good, Dad. To be honest with you.
You can guess.
But how is it? Because this time of year, most optimistic time of year for all.
Of course.
So
we've had a great preseason, and as you know, at this time of year, with everything's in front of you, so the excitement is big. We've had lots of great recruits. We've got some young guys playing their first AFL games, so the excitement's at an all-time high. We're back in front of a crowd. 50,000 people are going to be there tomorrow night. It's super, super exciting.
It feels like this list that the club has put together, Sammy Power and the rest of the team, it feels stocked. It does feel quite loaded. Do you feel that at training? And when you look around the locker room, I mean, you've been at this footy club a long time. It feels like the depth is probably as deep as it's ever been. Yeah,
I think that's bang on, to be honest. And particularly the other day, we had training, and I think we had 40 out of our 43, 44 guys out there available training. So not only is the quality of player there, but everyone's fit at the moment, which kind of compounds that depth, because there's just 22 spots, or 23 now with the injury stuff. We can probably talk about that later if we want to bore our listeners. But the depth is fantastic at the moment, and a great sign of hopefully what we can do during the year.
Just a quick word on the 23rd man, the medical sub. What do you?
Well, you're Mr. Man with all the news. You'd be across every little bit, wouldn't you?
Well, we kind of have to ride the bumps. It was I was all for the concussion, purely concussion sub. Although it was rushed in. I thought, but for that reason, I thought, okay, if it takes pressure off, I understand that this is for the longevity of players' health and all that. And then it's now flipped to it's essentially just an extra player, which kind of has raised quite a few eyebrows. What was it like in the locker room? Does that sort of thing you talk about, or is it like, nah?
No, it is. But you kind of just accept for what it is. Like, we can't do too much about it, but it's more of just the surprise of how sudden, and all here we are a couple of days from round one, and here's this new thing, and I suppose we'll adapt to it like we always do. But it was an interesting way to go. I thought they might have done a few other things before they would pull something this big. But
who was the player brave enough to ask, if I am the sub and don't play, do I get a match payment? Was there someone brave enough, or is that left to the elder statesman to go, look, asking for a friend?
You'd hope the older boys would jump on that bullet for those.
I've heard you get a registered game, so that's even if you don't kit up. Have you ever played and not made it out on the field, like in a preseason game?
I played as the sub when the sub was new in a NAB Cup Grand Final in 2010.
Oh, yes.
And I came on...
lest we forget.
Briefly for... Premiers. I came on briefly for the final quarter. So I was just a spectator, just sitting back, having a great time, watching Barry Hall kick 6 or 7, thinking, how good is this? And then got told to go on. I thought, I am not ready for this.
It's a long time to sit.
Oh, God. I got out there and I was absolutely nowhere on the field. And anyway, siren goes. We've won the NAB Cup Grand Final. There was quite a big build-up for it too, because Rocket have been going pretty hard that we want to win this game. And anyway, I'm thinking, great, I've been a part of something, running around on the field, high-fiving my teammates, and Rocket came straight off from the coach's box onto the field, and he said, "Woody, bloody disappointing, mate. You're absolutely nowhere, mate. I don't know what you're doing out there." So I was just deflated. The photo after the game with the cup. Oh God!
Can we make this a regular segment where one week you go, the next week I'll go.
Yeah, great,
just
cool.
when coaches sprayed us, or even if they sprayed someone else.
Vast catalogue.
Yeah, that's a deep reservoir.
Yes.
I do remember Lindsay Gilby. We flew all the way to Cairns, long way to go for a preseason game against Brisbane. Torrential, tropical storm rain, and they had an extended bench. Lindsay pined the whole day. We only just started with second year or something. 2 minutes or 5 minutes to go. Lindsay, you're up, and he's he's jumped up. He's at the interchange.
2 minutes.
I think Adam Contessa's going off the ground, and at the very last thing, Lindsay, no, we want Elvie. He's like, turns.
That's a rough day.
Furious.
Oh God.
How's your health? How are the hamstrings? Give me a quick update there, and then I've got a little fun game for the
fun game
for the fans out there. Just to turn, hamstrings, which can be a bit of a dour subject, into something light and fun.
No, the hammies have been a bit of a challenge this pre-season, but I'm back fully fit. I'll be playing in the VFL on tomorrow. Yep. And looking forward to getting through a full game.
Yeah, nice. Well, we want to see you back out there. We're a much better team with you there. I think just to personalise your hamstrings though, and just to include people watching and listening in, that we should name them. We should humanise them, make it more personable. So I'm going to open the batting and call your hamstrings Laverne and Shirley.
Okay, so
and look,
is there any thought behind the names, or
no,
is that
I was just thinking of just duos, and that was the one that.
That's a duo.
Yeah, that's a duo. That's an
How long we going back?
An 80s sitcom, the Milwaukee factory workers, Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, I can't wait to look that up.
You won't find it on Netflix. You won't find any of the hip streaming. So if anyone can come up with a better or more humorous
so I assume
duo,
Laverne is left because it's left hamstring,
and Shirley would obviously be right because it's not left.
It makes sense.
So and we'll check in with Laverne and Shirley throughout the year.
Shirley's been doing all right. Laverne's had a couple of weeks.
a rough couple of weeks. Okay, we'll check in with that. Tell me about the new players. We'll start with the recruits first that are playing this week. So Steph Martin, support in the ruck.
Yeah.
Tall, strong, handsome, intelligent.
Very smart
Is
man.
it the second coming of Will Minson?
No, because Will, as we know, he's tall and handsome, but his intelligence was on a different kind of level.
Specific intelligence.
Will had been described famously as the dumbest smart bloke going around,
he'll love hearing that again.
Good plug for you there, Will. Apologies. But no, Steph is very, very switched on bloke. And he's great. His strength out there. He likes to get very physical.
He's like a big ruck rover, isn't he?
Yeah, and he loves throwing his weight around, which has been a good addition for our group. And very even keel as well. So love having him out there. Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. And Adam Treloar, the highly publicised, big name, playing against his old club.
It's a big game.
And quite a traumatic trade period. How's he fit in? And will we see him out there tomorrow night?
Yeah, Ads will be out there tomorrow. Can't wait to see him run out against his old mob. Will be huge. We all know the build-up for round one, but as you said, it had been a tumultuous event to get him here. And I wonder, it's like the script has been written to play his old mob first up in front of a big crowd.
Almost as if the AFL set it up that way.
Like that, it's weird. It's uncanny.
It's funny how often that happens in round one. Really bizarre.
But no, looking forward to him getting out there. I've been really impressed with him, particularly in the gym through the preseason. He's an incredible athlete.
He's a bit of a ball, is he?
Yeah, he's lifting, I think, the most for our bench press, or close to the most on the bench press, and he's certainly squatting the most, which is just outrageous because he's only 80-odd kilo. Bob's gesturing the bench press at the moment. Your record has been just pipped.
That's disappointing.
They've just nudged over the 70 kilo mark.
That's legacy dashed. Legacy dashed. What about up close on the track? Because there is we've seen players, like Adam Treloar, when you see them on the TV, but there's nothing like training with them, seeing them day to day, just their footy brain and their physical capabilities out on the field.
Well, probably the thing that stands out on the field and when you're next to him is his balance and speed under pressure. So he's, as we were saying about the gym, he's so strong. When he picks up the ball, any kind of body contact, it just seems to bounce off him, and he accelerates through that without. He still almost doesn't care if anyone's near him. He just absolutely sends it. Yeah. it's awesome to see. Awesome. And can't wait to see him breaking out of packs on Friday night.
And the excitement around this time of year is always when we get to see some first gamers, the debutants. What can you tell me about Lachlan McNeil and Anthony Scott? And do they have nicknames? Because Lachlan McNeil and Anthony Scott, that's a little dry for my taste just on the surface of it. I love the way they move, but how have they fit in and what are they going to bring to the table?
I've been super impressed with both. Obviously, Anthony Scott was part of our VFL program for a long time, so it's huge and amazing to see him finally get his opportunity and to bang the door down and cement a spot for round one, which is a testament to how hard he's worked, and he's really an amazing player, amazing guy. He's a complete package. The way that he's so professional, he's really driven, and a super smooth mover, which we've seen in the Melbourne game recently. Kicked 2 off half-back, which is no small feat. So looking forward to seeing him put his best foot forward. And young Lachie McNeil, it's interesting. As you know, when young kids get drafted and they come in, you often think they might take a while to come on, and particularly with our list really maturing, and we spoke about depth before. But Lachie has come in, and from all our first match practices continued to impress each week that he was out there. He's got great speed and he's able to use that on the field. And it was one of those ones where I'd play on him a bit when we were in our match practice stuff, and I think, he'd pop up and he'd be there, or he'd smack into you with a big hip and shoulder or a tackle, and you'd really, really notice his presence. And
they would have tested out Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, it did. Look, he did actually smack into my quad and give me a nice corky,
nice,
which I've got in the memory banks.
Have those two got nicknames that are set? Because we like to.
Well, Anthony Scott is Scotty.
Okay, I think we're
very creative with Lachlan McNeil. He's Lachie.
I mean, are you happy with that, Bulldogs supporters? If Scotty and Lachie.
Look, I'm sure there's room to improve.
Well, why don't we put it out? So this is what we do on Barkley Street.
Is this how we get
on the socials?
Okay,
on the socials, Easton. So loyal listeners will know, but we'll send out a tweet. We'll get some interaction.
Give us your best nicknames.
Well, yeah, that's right. #Barkley Street. What should the nicknames be for Lachlan McNeil and Anthony Scott? Let's spitball a few of these names and see what we come up with. What else are your observations, mate? What preseason number is this for you?
Preseason number 14, I think.
Number 14.
Yeah, it's gone quite quickly, which is a bit scary when you put it into those numbers, because I was talking to our first year boys that got drafted, and I realised speaking to them that I got drafted before they were at school. Which is a bit of a shock.
That's pretty wild, isn't it?
Craziness.
Oh, I think Sean Burgoyne, so he's into his 20th year, which is before the draftees were born. That's got to
wild.
That's got to kind of mess with you a little bit. Another thing for our Barkley Street listeners, send us in your requests of what past players you want to hear from, what questions you've got for the players, because it'll be Easton and I for this year. Bont will be sort of in and out. He's a busy man. I mean, he's captain of the football club. You and I both know the demands of that, but he's also CEO of Bont Inc., which is a growing empire where he just dabbles his hands in where he just does well at things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what Bont does.
Yeah, which is whatever activity he wants to do.
It's a bit of a yawn, but he just continues to.
Yeah. He does it.
Smash it.
Yeah. Was his haircut sort of big news around the locker room when that rolled in?
All new haircuts get a very great
Is it still that
response.
way?
Oh, yes. It's the old haircut. Look out. Here we go. Come on down.
You've managed to hang on to your locks quite.
Absolutely rapt about it too.
Has there been any artificial involvement?
Well, my brother is, for those out there who don't know my older brother McLeod, he started to go bald when he was about 21. So his main thing was that if he was going, that I was going to go down with the ship with him. That was holding him in there. And so when I got to 21, he was closely inspecting the locks, and he realised that I was hanging in there.
Yep.
And now that I'm at 31 and still hasn't changed, he is furious.
Well, I remember you being quite, I wouldn't say anxious, but but
I was
just
convinced.
a little
I
bit
was convinced it was
uptight
going.
You were trying to.
Dad was bald at 21, brother bald at 21.
Yeah.
My grandfather before that bald at 21.
It was certainly on
And there's all this talk about it happens on the mother's side, but when your brother's going down in front of you and all you can see is the men in your family all bald, I was thinking, I'm gone here for sure. And if people who've been around long enough, they might remember I had hair down to my shoulders back in 2012. That was my last hurrah. That was what I was thinking of, like, this isn't going to be around for that long. I'm going to test it out, take it for a test drive and see what it can do. And yeah, somehow it hasn't changed.
Right, just tilt your head forward a bit.
What do you reckon?
Well, it doesn't seem any thinner than when you and I played together, which makes me think there's been some either weave.
No, I'm definitely not above getting some work if it starts to retreat.
Nothing would please me more than in round
that can maybe
18
tie in
of
for a sponsor for the podcast.
The Barkley Street podcast. You come in with long curly hair and just, what are you talking about? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
This is me.
How's fatherhood, mate? You're father of two now.
Yes.
How's the different rhythm of life with having a couple of little ones?
Incredibly different rhythm, as you know. I've got young Matilda, who's 18 months old, and little Freddie now, who's 4 months old.
Wow.
So Tiff and I are very lucky to have those two. And yeah, hands are very, very full at the moment. It's
full
just
days.
Very full days. But they're wonderful. Tilly at the moment, at 18 months, she's just starting to try and talk, and she's the funniest little kid. She's always getting into everything, and it's gorgeous. And Freddie's really starting to light up and giggle and smile. Yeah. So they just get better and better the older they get. So it's a busy time, but as you know, it's probably the most special time when they're this young.
And how's Murphy, the border collie?
Listeners out there, so we have a border collie named Murphy after the great man over here. You know, he's taking his name very seriously because he is quite a bit of a pain in the ass.
Oh, well, that's lovely, isn't it?
He's great. Is he
a bit naughty?
No, he's quite an energetic, energetic boy.
I like
so
this.
So we've got a busy household, and he is the cherry on top.
Yeah. But chaos is
it's
good.
Beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos nonetheless, but it's beautiful.
Okay. Well, mate, I'm so excited for this year Barkley Street podcast back in full swing. I know you won't be out there, but give the boys the best of luck on behalf of us and all the Bulldog supporters. Round 1 against the Pies doesn't get much bigger than that.
Huge.
A lot of expectation, a lot of excitement for the team this year. Mm-hmm. So many new faces, some old faces as well, with talent to burn. Make sure you buy them.
You've got the plug in. Couldn't be a podcast without a plug from old Bubbo.
But we're going to come back with heaps more Bulldogs content every week. Past players, current players. Send in your questions. Hashtag
let us know who you want
Barkley
us to
Street.
talk to.
If you've got a different option for Easton's hamstrings, Laverne or Shirley, or something.
Or even if you want to donate with your own hamstrings, I'm sure the medical staff could look into.
Yeah, that's right. You can contact Vic. You can contact Vic Rhodes and fill out little forms. Would you donate organs and hamstrings if you happen to perish? And what a note to finish on! If you happen to perish in the ensuing days, mate. Good luck. Can't wait for a big year and can't wait to chat to you about heaps of different stuff throughout the footy season. No doubt it'll be exciting. And as you know in footy, it won't be dull.
Never is.
All right. See you next week.
Cheers, guys.